Hello, Top Drawer VA fans. How are you today? It's Melissa coming to you live from the studio floor where we get together usually every Wednesday, minus last week because I was on a vacation, and play with some paint. So welcome. If you're new joining me for the first time, say hi, drop in the comments below. If you're back to hang out with me and play with paint, welcome back. We have a new project today, and it's not a big one because this mama is tired from traveling and getting in off the plane super late last night. So we are going to do a little fall painting. And yes, I said the magic word fall. I know that's going to make some people a little cranky. But, you know, my booth space, I sell my items here in Richmond, Virginia at the Lazy Daisy. And it is already fall season over there. They've already started stocking fall and getting fall ready to go. So we need to keep up with the Joneses and get some fall products and fall projects done. So what are we going to do today? Well, we are going to paint a stack of pumpkins, and we're going to paint it on this. And what is this? What is this, you ask? Well, this is a table leaf. Dun, dun, dun. It's a table leaf. So I have people that give me things because they know that I paint wild and wacky things. And every fall I paint like stacks of pumpkins on boards. I paint it on, sometimes I have like shelves. Somebody gave me a couple of these table leaves. They're solid wood. They're really pretty. It's a gorgeous little grain. It has these little divots that stick out over here. I think I'm going to just cut them off with my Dremel. And we are going to paint a stack of pumpkins right here on the front of this piece of table. Because why? Because it's fun, and I said that it's going to be fun, so we're going to do it. What are we doing? We're going to grab a bunch of different colors. All the paints I'm using today are from Dixie Belle Chalk Mineral Paint line. You can find them at the link that I put in the description in the video. Everything is water-based, zero VOCs, safe to use indoors around your pets. And let's go. Let's have some fun. So I paint these pumpkins. They're like stacks of pumpkins, and I paint all different kinds. I paint like orange ones. I also paint green ones because green's always fun, and cream, and a bunch of different colors. And there's no rhyme or reason to how I do this. It's just me playing with some paint and doing some hand painting. And we're going to start at the bottom. I'm going to do like a big orange one, a mini green one, a little beige one maybe, and then a slighter green one. We're going to add like little bits and frills, and let's just hang out and play with some paint, okay? Okay, welcome. So what color should we do first? I have a couple of different colors on the floor. And FYI, if you are a Dixie Belle fan, if you love some Dixie Belle paint, and you have been waiting for colors that have been discontinued, colors like terracotta, or colors like Florida orange, there's a bunch of colors that are now back in full sizes. So for the longest time, you could only get them in the little tiny 4-ounce size, and now you're going to be able to get them in the Big Mac Daddy size of whatever you want. So if you're looking for those weird and wild colors that are being discontinued, Lucky Lavender, Blueberry, Florida Orange, there's so many of them that I use all the time. Even Holy Guacamole, it's like my favorite color. You need to go to the Dixie Belle paint page and grab them while you can, because they have just released everything back in the regular sizes. So now you can shop your little heart out. Shop away. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, I have a bunch of brushes on the floor. I have artisan brushes from Dixie Belle Paint. I have some of the bigger French tip ones. I have some no-name ones. I think what we're going to do is just start at the bottom and work our way up. If you had trouble understanding like placement for items, I don't want it to go all the way to the top. I'm going to go big at the bottom, medium, smaller, and we're going to kind of stack them originally. This board has been cleaned with White Lightning to remove any grease, any oils, any things that might be on there that I don't want. And we're going to jump right in. So I feel like the bottom pumpkin should be orange. So we're going to go into Florida orange, which is this vibrant, perfect fall color. And I'm going to, you can see the bottom of the board here. I'm going to create some shapes. Pumpkins are super easy. You do not need to be an artist to paint a pumpkin, okay? You don't, I promise. All we're going to do is make a big fatty pumpkin right here at the bottom. And I'm just going to gently fill in my shapes first. Once I fill in my shapes, I'll come back in and start to add the detail. We're going to add some shading. We're going to add some gold. And this is rustic. This is going to be like a rustic porch sitter. People love these signs for their front porch. And who doesn't love pumpkins? I mean, cutest. And since my vacation is done, I feel like everybody should be getting ready for fall. It's not true, but since my vacation ended yesterday, I feel like I'm in the fall vibes. Okay, super cute. I also have on the floor a cup with water. Hopefully I have enough water in here, and some paper towel because I'm going to do a couple different colors of pumpkins, and I don't even need to really wash my brush out 100% because I just want to lay out some shapes. So we have a big fat orange pumpkin. The next pumpkin, I don't want it to be orange because I don't want it to be perfect, right? I want to kind of like stagger out some colors. I usually do like an off green. I like a sagey green. So I grabbed a couple different colors. This is mint julep. I wonder if this is too minty. I don't think so. That's pretty cute, right? I mean, this is the land of pretend. We can paint what we like. There's no rules in painting. There's no rules in painting. Okay, so same brush, just kind of wiped off. Let's do a big white one. I'm gonna grab some ecru, which is like a soft cream. Let's do like a tall, skinny pumpkin, okay? So you know how pumpkins have some different shapes. You have pumpkins that are really big and round. You have pumpkins that are not as round, and more like a tall. We're just gonna plan out our pumpkin placement first. Okay, so there's my second pumpkin. We've got a big orange one, we've got a creamy one. Let's brush off my cream color and move into a green. Should we do that green mint julep or should we do like a darker green? I think mint julep is kind of cute. Let's grab the mint julep. Let's do a short fat pumpkin. And we're going to kind of off center him because I don't want them to all be the same. And again, this is just the placement, right? We're just kind of getting our placement out. Shorty fat pumpkin in green. I actually do like the mint julep. And don't worry that they're not touching. I'm not done. This is just like the basic layout of my project. We're gonna probably have to move you back so you can see the top bit as well. I'm going to go into terracotta now, which is one of the colors that is being brought back in the Dixie Belle paint line. Let's do a taller, skinnier pumpkin. Terracotta is a great color. If you haven't tried this color, I'm a big fan. But even if you did want to try the smaller sizes, they are available in those little 4-ounce sizes. Okay, so big orange, small cream, small green. I think it needs to be another cream one right up here. What do we think about that? I'm going to actually grab one of the smaller artisan brushes and go back into the ecru. And we're just kind of going to do a fat pumpkin right up here. So all of these pumpkins are going to have stems, and I'm literally just going to sit on the floor and play with paint. Let's do a little Bob Ross today, okay? So now you can choose what you want to do. You're going to pick your pumpkin you want to work on. I already have the ecru on my brush, so we're going to just kind of fill in the edges. I don't even care if my pumpkin is a perfect shape. Like I kind of like it when the edges are a bit rough. And I'm going to grab some other colors. I'm going to take some chocolate. Chocolate is a little bit of brown. This is the same brush. Nobody has washed their brushes here. We're just going to kind of start to place out our pumpkins shapes. So pumpkins have those ridges. We're just going to start to ridge out our pumpkins a little bit with some definition. So adding that little bit of brown in there. We're going to do the same thing to the green one above with the mint julep. Again, totally didn't even clean my brush. I'm just going to add some shadowing with a little bit of this chocolate on here. I know it feels early for fall, but when your store that you sell at says that, hey, it's time for fall, bring it in, we got to go with the flow. We have to bring the fall in. Again, with the chocolate coming up here into the terracotta. Just adding some definition. And the same thing up here for this little guy. So now we have to come down to the big pumpkin. So just adding the little ridges. And then cleaning off our brush. I probably should have brought over the heat gun, not gonna lie. Because the heat gun's going to allow me to dry each section, but we'll go a little slower. So, of course, pumpkin's going to have stems, but the stems are going to be last. First, we're going to finish concentrating on what we're doing here with the highlights. So I'm going to go back into the ecru, And we're going to look at the pumpkin, and when you think about a pumpkin and the way the light might be hitting it, you might be thinking of like the shade. So I'm just going to start to accent the edges a little bit with some lighter tones. And all this is going to do is just make it look a little bit more 3D. Just a little. Mixing it in with the chocolate. I'm not even really washing my brush, I'm just wiping it off. And the ecru is just like a nice little highlight for my pumpkins. I tend to do a bit of the lighter colors right at the top where the light would hit the pumpkin. And then we'll add the darker bits on the bottom under the edges where the shadow would be. Is anybody else feeling fall-ish? Like, I could use like a serious fall day where like all the windows are open and the breeze is blowing in. I can't even imagine. I cannot wait for that feeling. I love to open every single freaking window in my house, and my husband drives him bananas. But I am a big fan of fresh air. I feel like I can't breathe unless the door of the window is being open. I don't know. I sit outside in the morning almost every day with my coffee, even if it's like 1,000 degrees, because I'm just like, give me air. Like, I just want outside and breeze. We just got back from our family vacation. We went to Aruba, which was amazing. And the wind there is like a vortex. It literally, like, my daughter and I could barely eat our dinner because our hair was just flying everywhere. I am in love with Aruba. If you've been to Aruba before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think it might be the prettiest place that I've ever traveled to. So now we're just going to jump into a little bit more of the darks. So this is just a black caviar. When you think of your light source coming in, I want to pretend that my light source is going to come in from the top. So I'm going to add a bit of shadows down here on the bottom. Again, not even washing my brush, just adding in that dark little shadow. And the same for our bottom orange pumpkin. This is almost like the more fluid you are, the more freehand you are, the more fun you have with it, the faster and easy this goes. This is not hard painting. This is like fun painting. All right, so now that we've done that, we've kind of got our pumpkins. Let me see if I can push you back around so you can see the entire thing. We've got all the way down to the bottom, fat and skinny ones all the way through. So I'm going to take a bit of my gold. This is Gold Digger, which is a beautiful gold metallic. Remember, my light source is coming this way. So I'm going to start to accent the edges so that when somebody looks at this, it's going to start to give it a little bit of shine. A little bit shimmer, a little shine with my Gold Digger. Not a lot. We're just mixing in the edge, thinking about where the light is coming from. This pumpkin I'm not in love with. We're going to have to fix him. He's a little dull. He got too much brown in there. I think I might make him a little bit more green. So let's go back to the minced julep and start to add in some of this green color. That's a bit better. He was just looking a little dull. He was looking a little tired up there. Okay, perfect. So now we have our pumpkin stacks. I'm going to do stems. We can do brown, we can do black. I can even trace the pumpkins in black to give them more definition, but the stems is where it really starts to come together, where it starts to pull together. I'm going to take one of the artisan brushes with a soft tip like this, and I'm going to go into Holy Guacamole, which again, if you're just tuning in and you missed my earlier announcement, there are some colors from Dixie Belle that have been discontinued and they were only sold in the 4-ounce sizes. All of those favorite colors, especially for fall, the Holy Guacamole, the terracotta, they are gorgeous and they are back and they are available now in any size. You can totally grab them. Let's see, 112. Oh my gosh, you are really waiting for the fall weather then. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want to shortcut my summer, but I just am dying to open up every single window in my house and get some movement, get some air, get some flow. Okay, so we have Holy Guacamole, which is this gorgeous kind of green. I use this all the time. This is one of my favorite colors, and you will use it a lot too, especially if you're doing hand painting. Now here's the stem trick. Each stem does not have to be a perfect straight up and down rectangle, right? When you think of a pumpkin stem, you think of something short, You think of a stick on top of a pumpkin. This is going to look better if you do it a little bit more freehand. So I'm going to do like a little stem that kind of comes up like that and comes over. And of course it's going to go into the bottom of our pumpkin, but first off I want to keep this green kind of true. I don't want to mess it up with my wet paint because this is all fairly wet. I'm painting for you right here live. So we're just going to lay down our holy guacamole and some stems. Let's do another little broken stem over here too, where the stem kind of comes off to the side. And then we're going to take some brown and we're going to really add some brown to these stems to get them to look more realistic. I really do want to get my heat gun. I wonder if I can reach it. Hold tight. Let me go get the heat gun. I feel like sometimes things need to be just super dry before I do the details, so talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. I know it's close by. Okay. We're back. Heat gun procured. Let's give this a little blast before we start to do some shading. Okay, now I'm going to get back with that beautiful holy guacamole, and I'm going to create the little bit of the leaves that go at the bottom of the pumpkin. Does that make sense? Like the stem. I love this color. I think holy guacamole might be one of my most favorite greens. Especially next to, like, I love all those Kelly greens, but holy guacamole just has such a really great shade to it. Okay, perfect. Let's start to shade in our stems. I'm going to go back into the chocolate, which is the brown. Remembering my light source, I'm choosing is to be to this way, so the light source is going to come here, which means the dark side of the stem will be over here. So all the stems are going to get a little bit of shading. Perfect. And I'm going to see if I have a really tiny little brush. So I want to create those little pumpkin curlicues, the little pumpkin, what do you call them? Pumpkin, I swear every live I have like a mind block. They're like the little cutie things that come off the pumpkin that look like a little corkscrew. What do you call those? Pumpkin connoisseurs, help me out. I'm just going to take this thin brush because I want to do a little bit more freehand. Just like that. We're going to go both ways. We're going to add some detail. They're like the little bits that go out and grab the vine. They got to be part of the vine, right? I'm assuming that's what they are. Cute, 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 starting to come together. Okay, perfect. Now, I want to go back to the black, I think. I want to add a little bit more kind of definition to these pumpkins. So I'm going to just kind of like trace the outline with the black and give them a little bit more shadowing. Every time I paint these and take them to my booth, they fly out the door. People love front porch pumpkin decor. They love fall decor. You cannot go wrong with a little fun pumpkin painting. Sometimes that little black is just needed just to take it to the next level, just to make it just that cuter. Okay, cute, cute, cute. Okay, so what's next? Whatever you want. Honestly, whatever you want. I'm going to do the same thing with a bit of that ecru, which is the white, just on the top little edge, coming around the pumpkins on the side. Just the side where the light hits. Okay. I want to add in some tendrils, some kind of like fall little tendrils. So I'm going to go into, let's choose English, nope, this is evergreen. This is English ivy, but it's evergreen, which is a really green green. I'm going to go back and find one of the brushes that's more of an artisan brush. And I'm going to work with creating some small little tendrils of green ivy. Let's aim you down at the bottom so you can see what's happening. There you go. So I want them to kind of come up and move around the pumpkin. I'm going to blast this pumpkin a little bit, make sure she's dry. Okay, so you can do this a couple different ways. You can choose to start at the bottom of the top. This brush is a bit smaller. So I'm going to go right at the top and we're going to start right here. We're going to create the first leaf. And I'm kind of creating like a pattern just by paint smushing. You know, my technical terms getting crazy over here. Paint smushing to create some kind of tendrils for the pumpkin to kind of sit on, if that makes sense. Because there's a little bit of negative space down here that just needs to get filled up. So that's one little tendril. Once I get that dry, I'm going to add the little stick to it. Let's do another one this way. Again, with starting at the top. Perfect. So these tendrils are just sitting underneath my little pumpkin. We're going to move up a little bit and we're going to do the same thing over here. I like to kind of come in from the top. I'm going to do this one a little bit curved so she comes in over top of this pumpkin. And then let's give this pumpkin a little bit of green on its stem as well. And we're going to give it a leaf as well. It's coming together, right? Starting to come together. So cute. A little bit of green on the stem as well. Not a lot, not a lot. Okay, let's do one kind of coming out this way. So when I look at this, I feel like here's good, here's good. This is a bit of a negative space. So let's add a little bit of a tendril over here. We're going to start it up here. Again, I'm just pushing the brush onto the board to create those leaves. Just like that, and then we can even do one up here at the top. Let's aim you up. This one should kind of come around here up to the top. So let's do a little bit like this. Remember, I'm still going to come in and add the stick to it as well, and then we're going to accent these leaves with a little bit of gold. And then I'm going to do one more little leaf over there as well. Okay, so what are we thinking of this kind of layout? It's pretty cute, right? So let's come in and add a little bit of the mint julep to these leaves, just to kind of give them a little bit more, not on everyone, but just a little bit more definition. I don't want pure green, I just want to touch them a little bit. And if any have a little edge where you want to add a bit more of a point, you can totally get in there and do that. And the same with the top. Perfection, perfection. Okay, so now what's left? We need to add the tendrils stem. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to do the color that I use, the evergreen. And we're just kind of flowing the stem in right down the middle. And then I'm going to come down here at the bottom and add a little bit more in the tendrils. So you can go into either the mint julep, or you can also use that evergreen. Let's see, one little drip. Let's fix that leaf.